So hey everyone, welcome back to another video. So this is the Codeforces problem solving playlist. So this is the sixth video in this. So we are going to solve the sixth problem in this playlist. So as you can see that the next problem we are going to solve in this video is the next round, that is 150A. So this is the starting problem of this contest. So all of the problems that is here are the contest problems that they have given and solved by many Codeforces competitive programmers. So today we are solving this problem. So this problem is going to bring together several things that we have already learned: loops, countings and conditionals, but it will add also a new twist, that is multiple conditions that must all be true at the same time. So it's also a problem with very relatable theme. So the Codeforces contest scoring. So let's dive in. So in this problem, first let me go into it. So this is a competition based contest. In this contest they have given it. So in Codeforces division 3, so there are some divisions for the contest are there. So based on that, the rating the programmers will compete within the contest. So a certain number of top participants advance to the next level. So the rule is based on the cutoff score, the score of the kth place participant. So anyone who scores at least that much and the positive score advances to the next round. So first let us dive into the problem here. So here's the problem statement. So contestant who earns a score equal to or greater than the kth place finisher score will advance to the next round, as long as the contestant earns a positive score and exception contest rules. So a total of n participants took part in a contest. N is always greater than or equals to k, that is the kth place finisher, and you already know their scores. So calculate how many participants will advance to the next round. So this is the condition, and there are input constraints are there. So there are two lines. So in the first line, the input contains two integers, that is n and k. So the number of participants and the number of the second one is the cutoff place. So it is separated by single space, and 1 is greater than or less than or equals to k. That means k can be 1 or greater value within the range of 1 to 50, and n is also in the range of 1 to 50, but it should be greater than, the k should be less than or equals to n, and n should be always greater than or equals to k, and it should be less than or equals to 50. So this is the constraint they have given. So in the second line, the n number of integers, the scores in the non-increasing order. So it means it is already started from the highest to lowest order. So as you can see here, 10, 9, 8 and 777 and 55 there. So it is a non-increasing order. That means it is already sorted from highest to lowest. So these are the constraints, that is I less 1 less than or equals to k, less than or equals to n, less than or equals to 50. So the next one is output. So a single integer. So the number of participants who advance. So let us look into the sample inputs and output. So 8 for n, that means the number of scores, and n 5 for the k value, that is kth score. So as you can see, this is the score. So in this fifth place, as you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the fifth place is 7. So anyone with score greater than or equals to 7 and score is greater than 0 advances to the next round. So as you can see, the value should be positive, and the value that is greater than this value, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So as you can see, 5 is the score. So the 5 is the kth element, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that is the 7. So anything that is greater than or equals to the same value, that is 7, is from this value 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there are 6 elements, 10, 9, 8, 7, 7, 7. So these elements are greater than or equals to 7. So 6 participants advance. So even though k value is 5, so the 3 people stayed at the 7 all advance. So as you can see, there are 4 2 0 0 0. So in this 0 is neither positive nor negative. So 1 2 means 1 2. So the 2 value is 0. So all of the value is 0. So no one will be move on to the next round. So now we have seen the sample input and output, how the logic of this question is being. So now let us see how to build the logic for this problem. So I am opening this notepad. So within this, so first let us plan our solution carefully. So first thing we have to do is, as you can see from it, first we have to read two inputs, that is n and k. So read n and k. That is the first step. After that, read all the n scores. After that, we have to find the cutoff score, that is the scores of k value minus 1. So remember, we are going to use array here. So arrays in C++ are 0 index. So the kth element means, so as you can see, it is kth element 1 2 3 4 5. So I want arrays are 0 index. So 0 to that value, that means we have to use k minus 1, because it is 0 indexing, we have to reduce by 1. So until k minus 1. So the array of k minus 1 is the value that we are going to use for the solution, that is we are going to use for the cutoff region. So after that, we have to count how many participants have score that is both greater than or equal to the cutoff score and strictly greater than 0, because as they have said, the contestant here a positive score. If they have given negative score, it is not applicable. So for that we have to check it is greater than 0 and as well as it is greater than or equal to the cutoff score. So after that, so now let us check that greater than cutoff, greater than or equals to cutoff, and greater than 0. So that time it is positive. After checking it, we have to count when this passes this condition. So after that, print the count. So what we are doing, first for the array indexing, it should be 0 to k minus 1, because it is 0 indexing, we have to find the kth element. So for that we have to use k minus 1 here to find the element, and if any element that is strictly greater than this value or equals to this value, we can add it as the count. If not, we can just remove it. So now, do we need to actually sort the array? No. The problem tells us the scores are already in the non-increasing order. So that's a gift. So we can trust the input is already started. So but here's a question. Do we need to check all the scores or can we stop early? So since the array is sorted from the highest to lowest value like this 10, 9, 8, 7, 7, 7, 5 and 5. So here all the remaining scores, so once we hit the score, that is fails. For example, if I reach as 5 here, so now let us take an example that I have an array like this 12, 10, 9, 8, 7, 7, 7, 5, 4, 3. So I am saying the value is 4, that means 1, 2, 3, 4, 8 is the value. If anything greater than is, I will count. So when it reaches here, it will fail. So after everything here will also fail, because it is sorted in a non-increasing order. So that time we can simply stop when any one of time it is breaking. So that time we can use a keyword, that is break. So all the remaining scores will also fail. So technically we could break early. So but with n less than or equals to 50, that means they have given the range from 1 to 50. It doesn't matter for the performance, because we loop through all n elements for simplicity and clarity. So that two conditions must be both true simultaneously. It should be positive and greater than or equal to the current value. In C++, we combine them with logical AND, that is 2 ampersand symbol. So now we have seen here. So we have already seen that symbol in the watermelon problem. So now let us move on to the compiler. So I am using CLiner here. If you want, you can use any compiler. So in this compiler, this is the basic template we are using here. If you want to create a new problem folder, you can create it. So in the previous videos, this template is a muscle memory now. So if you are not familiar with this, go and watch those videos. So now the first thing is we have to get two inputs n and k. So first I declare n and k. So after declaring these two variables, we have to get input from the user n and k. So after I am getting, we read two integers for the first line, that is n number of participants, and k for the cutoff place, both on the same line. So both read with the chained cin. So with this operator, so it is identical. So we did this on the previous problem, that is team problem. So now instead of array we can use vector here. So vector. So after that, the data type and the name of the array. So I am naming it scores. Within it I am initializing with the size of n. So here it is something new in this playlist. So that is vector. A vector in C++ is nothing but a dynamic array. A array whose size is determined at runtime, not at compile time. We don't always know how many elements we need when we write the code. So we only know when the program runs and read n from the input. So this vector int means a vector that stores integers. After that, this scores within the parenthesis n, we are creating an array with exactly n elements. All elements will be initialized to the value 0. So we can think of it like an array elements that is accessed with the square brackets. That is, for example, same like array we can access through the array name with the square brackets, we can use zeros within it. So the difference is this size is flexible. That is the only difference between the arrays and vector. So vectors are one of the most important data structures in competitive programming. This is your first introduction to them. So we will use them constantly from here on. So after that, I want to get the input from the user. So there are n inputs. So I am using for loop. So for int I value 0 and I less than n and I plus plus. So within it, I will get input from the user. So I use I as the index value and store it in the index from 0 to n minus 1. That is the value I here. So this is how we will get input from the user. So we loop n times and read each score into the vector one by one. The score I access the ith element of the vector, just like the array indexing. After this loop, scores contain all n scores in the order they were given, non-increasing as the problem guarantees. So after that, we have to find the cutoff value. So as you can said before, I am naming it as cutoff. So in this, they have given the k value. So I am using scores of the value k minus 1. That is, it is 0 indexing. So that's why I am using minus 1 here. So I find the value of cutoff value. So after I am finding this value, since the arrays and vectors are 0 index, I am using k minus 1. So if k is 5, the cutoff is the scores of 4, the fifth element. So we store this in a variable called cutoff. So we don't have to write the scores multiple times. So it is clean and readable. So after that, I will declare one more variable for counting how many numbers are greater than or equals to the cutoff. So initialize with 0. So our counter is initialized with 0. This is the track how many participants advance. The same pattern we used in the previous team problems. So now the core logic we are going to dive in. So we loop through every participant score and apply two conditions simultaneously using logical AND operator. So for that, for so int now I value is 0 and I less than n and I plus plus. So I will check that if my scores of I, that means my current score is greater than or equals to my cutoff score, and we have to check that it is positive number. My scores of I, that is current value, is greater than 0, that means it is a positive number. So if it is positive and greater than the scores, that time I will increase the count. So now the core logic, so we will loop to that. So the first condition is scores of I, that is greater than or equal to cutoff value. So the participant score must be greater than or equal to the cutoff score. So this handles the tie breaking rule, everyone at or above the kth score advances. So after that, the second condition, that is scores of I greater than 0. The participant score must be strictly positive, 0 doesn't count. So even if the cutoff itself is 0, it will not count as it. So after that, if both conditions must be true for the participant to advance. So if either one of them is false, it will short circuits and we skip the participant. So if it is true, after this count plus plus increments our counter each time someone qualifies. So this is the logical AND operator from the watermelon problem. So double ampersand. So now we have applied to real non-trivial problem with two genuinely independent conditions. So now after doing this, we have to print the count. So cout count in the n line, I'll use backward slash n. So after processing all of the participants, we print the final count. So one output outside the loop as always. So now why we need both conditions? So let me clearly dive home by both conditions are necessary, because removing either one of them breaks the solution. So what if we only check scores of I is greater than or equals to the cutoff value? So if I check only this condition, okay, so that time if my sample is, let me see the sample 2. So in this sample 2, as you can see that all scores are 0. So first let me run this test cases. First I will copy this and let me run it. So once it is being builded, we can just run the code. So it is being building. So now we can run. So the output is 6. So let us check. So the output is 6. So let me copy this code. So again I will check for the next test case here. So after running this code, just give the input. So it returns 0. So for this test case, if I remove this condition, that is all scores are 0, my k value is 2, so the cutoff is 0. So every score is greater than or equal to 0. So we did count all 4 participants, but the answer is 0, wrong. So what if we only check that this condition and we didn't check this condition? Okay, what if we only check if my scores are positive? Imagine 10, 9, 8, 0. So the k value is 3. So the cutoff is 8. Okay, so let me write here. So here 10, 9, 8, 0 and 0. My k value is 3. So the k value is 8. So that means the cutoff is 8. Cutoff value is 8. So every score that is greater than or equals to, so here greater than or equals to 8 will be counted. So, but we have given the condition that is only for checking the positive. So that time what will happen? It will only count this value. So it will return the value of 3 here. Okay. So but it is not true, because instead of 0 0, if I give 1, that time it will not work correctly, because this will not have to be counted, but it will return the value 5, because we are only checking if it is positive or not. So let me remove this condition and check it. So if I try to remove this code and run it, so let me rerun. So I'll give 4, 2 is the k value, and 0, 0, 0, 0. So now as you can see, it is giving 4 instead of 0, because we have removed the condition for checking the positive, it is greater than 0 or not. So if I rerun it and give the same input, that is 4, 2, 0. So let's give 4, 2 and 0, 0, 0, 0. So it returns 0 now. So this is the output that we want here. Let us trace the problem here. So the input is 8. That means the size is 8. So after that, the values are 10, 9, 8, 777, 55. So the cutoff is, we have to check first the k value is 5. So I am using 0 indexing. So k minus 1 is 4, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So the 7 is the value. So cutoff is 7. Now I will check from 0 to n values. So if I check it here, first we have to check 10 is greater than or equals to 7. So it is true. After that, I have to increase the count by 1. Initially it is 0. So now it is 1. So after that, this value will be taken. So 9 greater than or equals to 7. It is true. Count will be incremented. Then this value will become 8. 8 greater than or equals to 7. True. Incremented. After that, this 7 7 greater than or equal to 7, true, count will be incremented to 4. Again this 7 will be taken here, so count will be incremented to 5 because it is greater than or equal to 7. So the last 7 is there, so 7 greater than or equal to 7, so it is true. 6 will be added, after that 5, so 5 greater than or equal to 7 is false, it will not add, and again the next 5 greater than or equal to 7 is not true, so it will not add. Finally we will print the value 6. So in the sample 2 they have given 4, 2 and the values are 0, 0, 0, 0. So this is the value. So now the cutoff is 0. So here we have to check that first 0. So the cutoff is 0 greater than or equals to 0, and is it positive or not. So we are checking 0 is greater than 0. So it is false. So every value is also 0. So everything will be false. The count will still remain 0. So the output should be 0. Let us submit this problem. So let me remove this. So this is the code. So I am copying it and go to submit tab here. And once you see this page, make sure that you are chosen the correct language you are writing the code and paste it. So after that, verify that you are a human here and submit the code. So it will be in queue right now. So it will be executed here. So let's refresh. So it is being accepted. So that's why we have added the toolkit, that is vectors here. So our today's new companion we have added in this journey, that is vector, that is creates a dynamic array of n integers. So you can just access the value just like arrays. After that it is also a 0 index. So for 0 indexing, for the kth element we have used index minus 1, that means the k minus 1. So after that the multiple simultaneous conditions with double ampersand symbol, that is logical AND. If you want to use any one of them, that time you can use OR operator. So after that we have already given that it is a reversed non-increasing order. So then we have checked for the 0 edge case. So your today challenge is, what if the rule is being changed? The cutoff is not the kth score but the average of the top k scores. So modify the solution so that anyone with the score above or equal to average and calculate the greater than 0 advances. So this requires computing a sum and division. So give it a shot and post your solution in the comment. So the bonus challenge, what data type do you need for the average? So think carefully about whether it is int is enough. And that's all for this today's video. So adding this, there are 6 problems down. So in the next video we'll be meeting with another problem. So if this playlist is helping your competitive programming journey, please like the video, hit subscribe and share it with someone learning to code. So every bit of code is support is keep this series going. So drop a comment. Have you seen vectors before today or not? So was the brand new? So let me know where you at. So see you in the next video.